Thank you everybody for joining and welcome on the behalf of Interlife Studies in Japan. And this consultancy that serves for abroad study, either for studying in Australia or even for Europe and many more. As you can see, another important slides that you can basically, this is Devendra on the behalf of Interlife Japan. And I'm very thankful to our director, the founder, our guest officer, and all the whole team. And definitely I will be giving you time to be getting interacted with you at the end. It's all about question sessions we'll be having. Before getting into this, I need to welcome you once more. This is Devendra on the behalf of Interlife Studies in Japan. I have a questions. Is my voice clear, by the way?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Right, or you could also send me the text if it is not clear. Sometimes what happens, I might be speaking, but it doesn't work sometimes technically. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So I would like to be firstly welcoming you by giving you the orientation of what is PTE and why that you have to be doing firstly, before jumping to the IELTS orientation. And I did my PTE and online and did a very good score. It's about getting 90, and facing reality is very different when it comes to the PTE. It's about totally digitalized testing conducted by Pearson. I need to be honest with you. And the full score is of course 90, right? And out of 90, you all need to be getting, if you're a high school grads, then you need to be getting at least not less than 65 or of course 58. It depends upon the institution that you're applying for, universities, colleges, and to be honest, right? And even in PT, I need to be honest with you, there are mainly two different courses, just like in the IELTS. It's about facing the academic, PT, and PT core. If you're going for higher education, then honestly, you have to be getting into the academic course, which is amazing. And it is about starting a journey internationally, getting into foreign university where English is used as a means of communication, for such as especially in listening, either in reading or speaking with the professor or students, even with the actually general people wherever you study or wherever you begin your journey. Especially, this is widely accepted for higher educations, even for immigrations. For example, if you want to study in Australia from Japan, then of course PT would be the right option. And comparatively, PT could be the best option if you don't have that actually a high, or I would not say the high, basic understanding of English, then you would have to go for PT. But what happens is easy, it's not always easy. You have to practice. That is the most important thing that I have to do this one. And it's very important that all the people need to do this one because everybody thinks that PT is easy. I don't think so. Nowadays, the templates have been removed. So you need to understand the question and you need to answer the question. Before, many students used to get a very score. Even my students who were not able to score, not even actually 6, they got especially 7 to 9, which is not a joke. But now, because of Canada did a restriction on PT. Lately, they changed, all the scoring system and pattern technically. So nowadays we need to prepare PT just like the IELTS, but not entirely. Still comparing to IELTS, PT is very much scoreable. Yeah, we need to practice at least twice in a day by managing a timetable, even at your home and online. You can see every commentaries or feedback, even the score, practicing by yourself. That is the automatic system. And you can also face your tests on online along with your feedbacks and the full score. That is the most beautiful thing that you could ever do. And having said that, I need to really encourage you to do very well, even in PT. My ultimate desire is to help you to get actually 90. That will be the best thing that you could ever do this one. So it's very, very important. Right? And this is mainly for, I would like to highlight once for higher educations and immigrations purpose. If you want to get PR for Australia, of course, but getting 80 in the listening, of course 80 in the reading, including actually writing, of course, reading, you could really challenge very well. That is why I want to say this one. And it's going to be a very amazing experience that you could ever face it, number one. So, but for higher educations, I think 60, 65, not less than 60, 65 would be enough. Even if you score 65, not less than 55 will be enough if you're a high school grad. And if you're going for masters, then you have to score 65 plus not less than 60 would be enough when it comes to the minimum score, but maximum, you only need to score 70. Well, I need to really focus on your speaking and the reading part and dictation part. If you only focus on dictation and actually reading, especially reading some portions, I'm very sure that you're going to be hitting the nail very well, no matter what people say about upside. If you prepare well, I would be giving you some ideas. So what lesson that you have to focus out of many questions in the reading and listening. You don't have to practice all the questions, but you need to practice mainly, especially the dictation from the listening and read aloud for repeat sentence either from the read aloud, and for the reading, you can practice reading and writing section. Having said that, this is not the beginning of the class, just a highlight. Now, let me talk about the PTE core. This has been recently introduced, not been so many years. This is just a ZT in the IELTS. Even in IELTS, there are two modules that you're going to be facing. So we're facing the academic and the general training. General training is for people who go into work, immigration. They don't need a high score of English, though the full score of IELTS is 9, right, or 90 in the PTE. And PTE core is comparatively very easy. Getting 55, 45 would be enough if you're going for hospitality. This is for immigration. This is not for you. This is not for students and professionals. This is the course that you are all need to be doing. And out of 90 that you all need to be getting, actually, how much do you have to get? I have to make you to score minimally 60, not less than 65, but that's not my actual target. You only need to make a target up to 90. What are you getting target for? Especially 80 and 70. Then we can work in on. This is very, very important. Having said that, this is one. And if you still have questions, you can ask me about this, the difference between the academic and the PTE core. So I would suggest you to practice, especially getting into PTE core. Now, how is like PTE core? I can even show you by going into the web page that I can show you. I have a page here. Yeah, I think I got a PTE core here. I can show you this one. Yes. Yes, I need to show you something. So I need to keep down this one. All right. Yes. Do you able to see my screen? So should I need to increase my screen? Well, yes, this is what I was saying from the reading. This is for PTE academic, right? Even for UKVI. But this is very different, my ones, because PTE core is a very different experience than this is. If you click here, and then you have to go for PTE, right? Oh, yes. This now it is all about the PTE core, right? This is PTE core, so you can practice from read aloud, repeating sentence, describing your mind, and facing the science questions. And this is the new questions, totally going to be doing new questions. I'm going to be teaching you the new questions, how to like new questions, because PTE teams introduced 2 different new questions because of, inhuman testing. PTE faced a lot of comments in the past, so they did this course just like phishing the IELTS interview. And yes, this is for PTE core. I'm not going to talk about this, right? Let's go to the academic one. So you have to simply click this one. You just have to go to PTE UK. Yes, this is what the practice platform that you could use. I love this app unit very much for the speaking, and I would also recommend you to use it, especially Guruli, and they have the Alpha, but that is not much genuine when it comes to checking your speaking section. So for speaking, firstly, app unit is best than ever. For writing, reading, speaking, doesn't matter. You can practice from any web pages, proceeding by yourself, right? And I think 2 or 3 tests are very free. For example, you can freely do from the reading part, right? See, this is very free part. And then we got the listening part here. It's very free, I can tell you this one. Then we got here writing part. This is very important, but this is not free. We need to pay this phone. It doesn't cost us. It costs you only $15 for 1 month. Well, unlimited mock tests with unlimited mock tests. That's the beauty of this one. I can tell you the truth. Whatever it is, whatever. And yes, I need to be honest with you. Now let me continue my slide from here. Yes. Now let's get inside the format of the speaking. What is like, I'm going to be starting with the speaking format, and then we are jumping into, yes, the writing part and many more, right? Okay, I need to just inside, okay. Yes, so the first exam that you're going to face is about facing the speaking, the writing, and this is about facing 54 to 60 minutes to be completing this one. And soon after finishing your speaking, that you're going to be facing your writing part, which is very, very important that I need to be very honestly too. And this is the perfect timing. However, you can do very fast when it comes to the writing part, then that of the speaking part. Speaking is not like that you do because, okay, yes, I just see this one, the text that I got here. Okay. Yes. All right, just a minute. Okay. 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 Sure. All right. Sure. I'll look at my see. Sure. Is it okay? I'll take some. All right. Sunil Soili, sir. Is it clear then? Okay, la. Thank you. All right. So let me continue this one. So let's go inside the speaking part before jumping into the writing part, which is very, very important. I need to tell you this one. Yes. Right. Yeah. Right. So very welcome to the speaking part. What kind of questions you're going to facing? Well, your real PTE testing that begins with your personal introductions, though it is not graded. That's why I don't mean to show you this one. You have to first introduce yourself before doing your really loud question, firstly. And secondly, you're going to be doing the repeating sentence and describing your mind, and then retelling lecture. It's about listening the lecture and telling in your own words, and then answering to answer questions. And finally, you have to finish with your writing part. It's about summarizing the text of 150 words by just writing 70 words in 20 minutes, whereas you all need to be writing down the essay because you all are academic candidates need to Oh, I got a little bit of problem. My net was disconnected computer earlier, so I'm very sorry for that. Now let me continue by sharing the screen. And just share this one. Okay. All right, sorry for that. So let's study. Oh, sorry. Do I enter this? All right, this is where I was talking with you all. And if you still have questions, you could ask me. And first, lately, some of the questions have been added, but which I'm going to be showing you. You're going to be facing summarized spoken text and response to situation, new questions, which I'm going to be teaching you during the class time. Now, let me just go to the other part of the part. Writing is also over. So speaking along with, of course, writing takes only 54 minutes. If you type very well, if you could type writing instead of spending 10 minutes, if you just finish in 5 minutes, then you can save the time from the writing section, because you cannot save the time from the speaking, because you have to follow with the questions and the audio, right? And the recording system is very different, I can tell you the truth. Having said that, and that is what the problem and the system that we're having here, right? Yes, anything else? If you have questions from the speaking writing, you could ask me. And perhaps you're thinking how many questions you're going to be facing in the speaking section. I can just highlight this one. Yes, you're going to be facing, of course, 10 questions from the read aloud. It's about reading the context by maintaining your content, of course, pronunciation fluency. Even in actually repeating sentences, you're going to be facing 10 or 12 questions, which is the most top question you could ever face. But by just practicing first every day, you can make your short-term memory very active. That is the beauty of the speaking. Then ever you could face this one. I can tell you the truth. 10 different questions you're going to face. And then reading aloud could be what is now the challenging. And then you're going to be facing first repeating sentence. I think if you could do well from especially 2 questions from the speaking, from reading aloud and repeating sentence, you can do very well in your PTE. You don't have to worry about repeating, actually describing your minds, retelling, and so on, answer questions, right? I can tell you very honestly. So I would be focusing more on your reading aloud and the repeating sentence, which is very, very important, my dear ones. Yes, I need to see the chat box. All right, sure. Yeah, that would be very, okay. So I need to, maybe I can just minimize this one. This is the best thing, yes. Yeah. All right, thanks. Now, what is like committing the reading part? And this is my favorite chapter either. I take long time to instructing you the reading part, because most of our candidates cannot do even well in their reading part. Some of the chapters of the reading could be very easy. Honestly, it is not going to be easy if you don't have intermediate level of the passes. That's the challenge one. Reading part that takes only 29 to 30 minutes contains different many questions. It's about filling and multiple choices and answering the following questions. I have to tell you this one. Now, how is like reading? Let's go beyond this. It is the shortest test perhaps you're going to be facing in your PTE testing. Yes. All right, so there are 5 types of questions you're going to face. Nothing has been sent so far, honestly. Only you have to prepare well this #1 question type. It is about reading and the writing down. It's about filling the blanks, right? And this is the most important a question that you're going to be facing during a PTE exam, my dear ones. Why? Because it tells you about something more, about how well you are in the reading, how well you are grammar. Grammar, which means it's about focusing more onto your vocabularies, and the parts of the speech of English, knowing how to use adverbs, including adjectives, nouns, right? You mostly asked to choose nouns and sometimes the adjectives. Mostly you need to know knowledge about how to use nouns within the filling the blanks and the adjectives. As far as I know, my experience tells me that most of our candidates are not able to fill out unknown about nouns and adverbs. There are many nouns and adverbs. So understand the context, and you have to fill by choosing the relevant words from the box. You get 4 different options. 2 options could be very challenging than any other options that you might be facing, right? Okay, so let's move on to, of course, the two one that you're going to be facing, the multiple choice, well, this is the most joyful question you're going to be facing. You're going to be facing only two questions, right? You have to read the text of 150 words, and then you have to select only one option among four, right? But this section does have four options, very confusing than this section. But if you do well from the reading and writing part, 25% of your score would be added even for your writing section. That is why we need to do very well. This first question is about reading and writing. How would you know reading and writing? I'm going to be showing you very soon. Perhaps I'm going to be starting with your reading and your speaking part along with your listening. Important sections to be prioritized first. And this is very easy comparing to this number one question type that you face during your test. But this is also comparatively easy comparing to this reorder paragraphs. This is about arranging the paragraphs. You're going to be facing two different paragraphings or paragraph type questions. You have to select which part or which paragraph would be in the introduction or which of the paragraphs would be in the body either in the summary. That has to be summarized. Then finally, you need to be just finishing with your fill in the blanks. This is similar to this number one, but you don't get more options. You get single options with 5 paragraphs. Even this number one question, you're going to be facing single questions with 5 different paragraphs. I can tell you the truth, right? Which is very, very important. Yes. Okay, so this is very interesting. You're going to be enjoying. So if you do well, this number one question type of the PTE, you can do well even fill in the blanks. So this question directly has a link with number 4 question type. But you're not given saying fill in the blanks. You're given actually single fill in the blanks while you need to pick up words from the box down below. We're going to be doing practically. Even this is all about filling with the relevant word, right? But you need to choose only one word that you would be facing, honestly speaking. Okay, so any questions you're having, honestly? Well, nothing. So now let's move on to, yes, number 5, which is the last question. And I don't really encourage you to do this question type because it is the most dangerous questions. It does have negative marking. You're going to be facing 2 passages. Where in this number 2, I need to highlight this one, probably using this highlighter, right? If you don't mind. So never and ever do this question. It's about this is the negative marking I need to be correcting. You can do this question very well than this one. You're going to be facing 2 different questions, right? Honestly, see. I need to be very honest with you. This is the first multiple choice you're going to face in this one, right? I need to be honest with you. Multiple choice questions you're going to be facing, right? Whatever. And yes, honestly, I need to be very honest with you. This does have a lot of functions and everything. See? What else that you need to do? It's about facing it and doing something better. It's about facing it and doing something better. And this does have a first negative marking, I can tell it the truth. This does have a negative marking. It does have negative marking, honestly. So you do have to be very careful. So I want to encourage you to do this multiple choice. And when instructing you, I will let you know this. But we're going to be doing single multiple choice very well. Let me just erase once. Oh, sorry. Let you go for this one. Yes. So we need to only focus on the single multiple choice. This is what I'm telling you. Doing this kills our time. Even if you're very brilliant, we cannot guarantee because even if you do well, but -1 would be reduced from the whole PTE score. So I don't really encourage for facing this multiple answers types questions usually, right? This is what the beauty I have to do this one. So if you have any questions from the reading part, then I need to be very glad with you. So we will be focusing more onto this reading and writing part. And that's our first, this fill in the blanks and single multiple choice. We don't get more time for preparing this multiple options of the answers. Now, how is that question? Let me tell you. You're given a, let me just show you from the text so that you'll be more clear about it. I can show you that from the text if you don't mind. Yes. Cross this one. Yes. Yes, I can show you this one. How is like the multiple choice from here, if you don't mind. Yes. This is single one. We're going to be just swinging the multiple one. So how is like the multiple one? I can tell you the truth. See, this is how the multiple passes looks like, honestly. I tend to slide out this one. Yes. Yes. I need to erase this one once. Let me erase once. Okay. Yes. You're going to be facing two different questions. I would say the two multiple choices, right? Like this, right? Okay. More than 300 words of the passes. To be able to see the passes, should I highlight? I tend to highlight this one if you're not able to see, or I can increase the size either. Yes. Yes. First. So this is how the passes looks like of the multiple choice, but there are more than 5 options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at least you have to choose 2. So technically we might choose the wrong one. Even if we choose, even if it is one is correct, for example, A is correct, the B is mistaken, then 1 marks would be reduced. That's why we don't give more priority for the multiple choice. We go for single. So I'm going to show you single one. This is okay. It doesn't have negative marking. I can tell you the truth. Yes. See, it doesn't have negative marking. You have to choose only one option. This is so easy. I could teach you the ideas how they have to be choosing the answer in a sort of way. You're going to be facing only 2 different passages. So you have to be very careful only with this multiple choice. Now let's move on to the listening part. What is like listening part? You're going to be facing this first question. It's about summarizing spoken text. You need to hear a lecture or conversation between 3 speakers, and then you need to summarize in 70 words. And then you're going to be facing a multiple choice. This does have negative marking. Just like in the reading part, it's about listening to lecture or audio, then you need to respond. And then finally, you're going to be just facing with the fill in the blanks, right? This is so easy. This is the most easiest part you're going to be facing. And this is also easy. Comparing to the reading part, I need to be telling you, comparing to the reading part, the listening is so easy. I can tell you the truth. You would enjoy the listening very much, right? I can tell you the truth. Listening is very easy. So you're going to be facing fill in the blanks, highlight correct summary, and we have to focus more on dictation and spoken summary, or summarize spoken types. These 2 question types are very important than the multiple choice, fill in the blanks, and highlighting correct summary. I will tell you something more about it from my slide, right? Okay, so let's go to the slide that I have here. Yes. Yeah. Okay, let me just start with this current slide. Yes, let's face with this. Okay, yes, the same thing. I was showing you from the practice page book. So this is a first enjoying with the spoken summary. You're going to be facing 2 different questions, and then multiple choices. You'll be given 2 different multiple choices, honestly, right? And that's what the point is. And having shared that, and then yes, it's about listening to a lecture and then responding it, nothing else. And then finally, I think I need to get down this one. You're going to be facing first fill in the blanks. This fill in the blanks is so easy. You have to type whatever you listen without any committing mistake, honestly. Then you have to highlight. You're given 3 or 4 summaries, whichever summary is relevant to the conversation lecture. You have to match the ideas between the conversation lecture with that of the options of the summary. It doesn't have negative marking apart from this, number 2 questions. Wow, this doesn't have negative marking, honestly, because it doesn't have negative marking. It's about only simply facing conversation lecture, then answering in your own way. I need to be honestly telling you this one. And having said that, you just have to select, yes, select a word, honestly, right? And then you need to go for choosing only the missing word. It's about summarizing the theme of the lecture and the option. You're given 4, either 3 options. You have to match with the conversation lecture along with the audio or conversation. Wow. Again, I need to be telling very honestly. You have to be very careful with number 7 question type, number 7 and number 2 question types, multiple answers, and highlight incorrect words. does have negative marking. This is very easy, but if we choose unknowingly incorrect word, then -1 will be used from our whole listening section. So whatever the word that you choose, you need to be listening very carefully. Then only you have to tick mark which of the sections are very incorrect, right? So I will be showing you very practically and technically this is not going to be clear today. So I need to show some questions from my slide or from the practice page very independently, then we will clear. So we don't give more time practicing number 7 question type, highlighting incorrect words, and of course, the multiple choice questions. We get more priority for the best score, good students who score 90 in the listening. Well, they get more priority summarizing spoken text and only dictation. You have to, because why? You have to keep in your mind, most of the questions do not have more than 1 mark. That's why we give more priority for summarizing spoken text and writing from dictation from the listening part. We don't give more priority, number 7 question type and number 2. Yes, if you do have any questions from the listening, I will be so thankful. And PTE exam that lasts for 2 hours, just 2 hours, but you can finish before 2 hours. If you do well, if you type dictation very quick and fast, then you don't have to be getting worried much about this one, right? You can do very well. I can tell you the truth. That's what the point is. Yes. All right, so this is all to say. And if you do have questions, you could ask me. And why do I have to be facing the PTE testings? Well, it is the fastest result you're getting, right? You get your result within 2 days, and then you can even download the result. And it is the AI systems. There is no bias. Sometimes you might face technical bias, but mostly you don't face that kind of human bias. And you can, book your exam days along with the analyze before you're going to facing your real exam. But before facing the real exam, I'll be conducting, of course, the real mock test, more than 4 or 5. So if you score 70, or not less than 70, or 80, or sometime in some section 90, then you would be qualified for facing your PTE testing. I'll be also giving you feedbacks depending on your preference and many more. My job is to help you to get your desiring score. And please, you could be speaking without any hesitation if you do have any questions. Even when taking a class, you make sure that you have to be really communicating with me so that I could reach you out. I can fulfill your offers, your desire, or your actual needs, because communication is very important. Yes, this is the official page that you can use for getting something new about Pearson. This is the official site that you can use for learning and getting to know more about the PTE. Yes. And if you have questions, otherwise I will be taking you into the ask part.